It would be dangerous to drive a car after 2 bottles of whiskey. It is very dangerous to cross a busy street before the light turns green. It is very pleasant to take a walk early in the morning, listening to birds singing. Some Japanese high school students go to cram schools to prepare for university entrance exams. When waiting for the elevator to come or the traffic light to change, most Japanese people become irritated within only 30 seconds. An elderly woman sitting next to me on the train asked me where I was going. Sam suggested that we should rent a car to get around the city because the public transportation was inconvenient. Everyone should be free to decide whether to get married and whether to have children. It is impossible to predict where and when a major earthquake will occur. Fred insisted that everything would be all right, but I could not help feeling worried. It never occurred to me that my remark might hurt her feelings. Tom, dinner is ready. Okay, Mom, I'm coming. I'll give you a call when I get to Narita Airport. If you take the train from here to Tokyo Disneyland, you have to change trains 3 times. I have decided to work abroad when I graduate from university. This hair dryer doesn't work. It seems something is wrong with it. The best thing about my stay with an American family was that the host parents treated me just like a daughter. When I was in my teens, I lived in Canada for 3 years because my father was transferred there. Smartphones are now widely used, so sales of wireless earphones have been rapidly increasing over the last few years. I have often heard him boast that he is very good at swimming, but I have never actually seen him swim. It has been only a week since I began working part-time at a convenience store, but I am already quite used to it. When I got on the train this morning, I could not find an empty seat. I'm not wearing my glasses now, so I can't make out what the sign says. Even 10 years after returning from living in France, I still find myself thinking in French. By the age of 5 or 6, humans learn to express how they feel. Thanks to the new route you told me about the other day, I managed to drive to work in half the normal time. Last year, I took 2 weeks off and went on a trip to Europe with my family. Bob had grown a beard, so when I saw him at a class reunion, I did not recognize him. When I visited my hometown for the first time in 20 years, I found that it was no longer what it used to be. I stayed up until 4 last night preparing for my math lesson, so I feel very sleepy. I've already finished reading the novel Elle borrowed from the library yesterday, so now I have nothing to do. If you had taken this medicine and stayed in bed, you would probably have gotten well in 2 or 3 days. The teacher says that we should wait here for a while because if we left now, we might get caught in a thunderstorm on the way down. People wish they could live forever and never get older. However, if this came true, there would be too many people on the earth. Anne looks happy. Something good must have happened to her. If you have been to a historic European city, you must have been deeply impressed by how beautiful it was. Without fossil fuels such as oil and coal, the history of the 20th century would have been completely different. That new employee is too friendly. He talks to me as if I were his friend. When I was a child, I often used to wish my house were a little larger. I would like to work as a volunteer helping victims of natural disaster, such as floods or earthquakes. Jim has a nice set of drums, so he never lets anyone play them. At first I thought David was only joking, but later I realized he was serious. Last summer, I tried cooking some Italian food for the first time, and it was delicious. Some people say that they do not like summer because it is so hot that they do not feel like doing anything. However, I like the heat of summer because it is perfect for swimming in the sea. James came to Japan 8 years ago not only because he wanted to visit temples, but also because he had a Japanese girlfriend. I am against human cloning. That is because it could result in evil people being cloned. This graph shows that in Japan the birth rate has been decreasing since 1985. This decrease is partly because it costs a lot of money to raise children. Even though I apologized to Jill for being late, she did not forgive me. 3 days ago, I dropped my smartphone and its screen smashed into thousands of pieces. I regretted not buying insurance for it. I'm so busy with the housework every day that I have no time to see a movie. This wooden desk is too heavy for me to carry upstairs by myself. While traveling in Europe, I got sick and tired of seeing so many Japanese tourists wherever I went. I was very happy when I saw my mother leaving for work wearing the earring I had bought her. If you think that schools are nothing more than places to study, then this shows that you do not understand what they are for. During the COVID-19 pandemic, most people spent most of their time working or studying indoors. Japanese people usually express their feelings as indirectly as possible to avoid disturbing the harmony of their group. Whether or not a university is truly first-rate depends not only on how intelligent its faculty and students are. It also depends on how much it contributes to society. The increase in the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere is closely related to global warming. The more modern civilization advances, the later we are forced to stay up at night, and the less sleep we get. Doctors and teachers are alike in that both of them deal not with things but with people. Musical performances are far more exciting live than they are on YouTube. This motorcycle is about twice as expensive in the UK as it is in Japan. Just because young people today read less than they used to, this does not mean that they are less eager to learn. Frankly speaking, the entrance exams I took yesterday were far more difficult than I'd expected. Many people have health apps on their phone, but very few of them know how to get the most out of them. Many visitors to Japan complain that movie tickets are too expensive. In some countries a great deal of food is wasted, while in others tens of thousands of children are starving. Don't forget to turn off the air conditioner before you go to bed, or you might come down with something. Smiling helps us build good relationships with those around us. On social media, we can share thoughts and ideas with people all over the world, regardless of age, gender, or nationality. No matter how much exercise you get, you won't lose weight unless you count your calories. Although you might think that you know a word, there is something new to learn if you look it up in the dictionary. Some Japanese tourists lack common sense and carry large amounts of cash in their back pockets. In order to stay healthy, you should have a balanced diet and get regular exercise. If you live in a developing country for a while, you gain an opportunity to look at Japan from a different point of view. It is not until you go abroad that you realize just how many neon lights there are in big Japanese cities. It is a pity that many Japanese people mistakenly believe that in order to become global citizens, all they need to do is speak English. It is surprising that many Americans do not care how you pronounce English as long as they can understand what you are trying to say. The best things we can do to protect the environment are to reduce waste and to use eco-friendly products. It is said that 7 out of 10 young Japanese people do not believe in any religion. Social greetings vary from country to country. In Japan, bowing is more common than shaking hands. Kanazawa is located south of the Noto Peninsula, which is famous for its beautiful scenery and delicious seafood. Quite a few elderly women look down on their husbands, who cannot do anything by themselves and are overdependent on their wives. The movie theater is about 20-minute walk from here, but it takes only 5 minutes to get there by subway. It cost me 10,000 yen to have this bike repaired. There are 4 people in my family and our apartment is on the 5th floor of this building. The tendency for young people to blindly believe all printed text is nothing new. When I was studying in Paris, the president of a certain company once bought me a meal at a fancy restaurant. Armstrong finally realized his dream of becoming an astronaut, but only by sacrificing many things. If city life is giving you stress and fatigue, it is best to relax in natural surroundings in order to relieve this. In Japan, women often have difficulty returning to their jobs or getting promoted after giving birth and raising their children. In the US, it is not unusual for parents to drive their children everywhere until they are old enough to get a driver's license. Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to the post office? Go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. You'll find it on your right. What do you think of our new teacher? There is something quite charming about her. People who do not feel guilty about taking up 2 seats on a crowded train really make me angry. Everyone is born with a talent. The question is whether they are able to find it or not. When I was out of the office for lunch, I ran into an old friend from high school. This music is worth listening to several times. I highly recommend it. Your teeth play an important part in your health. If you want to stay healthy, you must brush your teeth after every meal. Always remember that as long as you have passion, you can succeed in anything.